Hey everyone, well, welcome to Matomo Camp. I'm so happy to be here presenting. So I'm Matthieu. I'm the original founder of Matomo Analytics. First I wanted to give a huge thanks to all of the organizing team, Ronan and all of the organizers. They've put together this Matomo Camp third edition. It's a huge event, dozens of presentations all around the world, and really big thanks also to all of the presenters sharing all these cool insights and stories. Who would have thought we would be here, together 16 years into the adventure after creating Matomo. So really exciting. So today I will share a brief story of Matomo and how the business came to be. And then I'll tell a few customer stories, and at the end we'll look a bit ahead at the future. And really excited. And so let's start with the story of Matomo. So the journey began in the early 2000s. So back then, me and my friends, we were creating websites for our school projects. So it was a lot of fun back then, building a site in the early days of HTML. And, we would research and write our content and do the pixel perfect designs back then. And, we spent so much time to build those little sites for our school projects, and we wanted our work to have an impact, right? So we wanted those sites to be seen by others. So we put them on the internet. The internet was really taking off at the time. And quite simply, we had invested so much effort. We wanted to know how our websites were doing. And this was also a time where I was starting to be initiated, let's say, into programming. So a friend of mine had introduced me to PHP, and I learned of the open source concept and the free software movement. I was really fascinated by, of course, the internet, this knowledge sharing happening, and the concept of freedom of software really fascinated me. And I thought that was really something that was important and crucial. And at the time, there were not any open source statistics, web statistics. Back then, we didn't yet call it analytics, but there weren't any open source tools available. So, roughly at the same time, in 2005, Google Analytics launched. And to me, it was immediately very clear that analytics would be an essential part of the internet going forward. Everybody would need that for sure, because I needed it extremely strongly already, and I knew everybody would start using Google Analytics. And quite simply because we can only improve what we can measure, right? If we can't measure something, we can't make sense of it. If we change it, we don't know if it improves or not. So this measurement is really essential. And the web itself was going to change a lot over the next few years, right? There's so much growth everywhere. People were excited, and this was all going to improve. So it was clear that to improve the web, we needed to measure it. And Google was obviously onto something here. And so shortly after that, I decided to combine my passion for the web, for open source, for free software and freedom. And I had this vision to create an open source alternative to Google Analytics. And I proposed really quite simply a simple mission to the world, which I put initially on the website. So our mission is to create, as a community, the leading open digital analytics platform that gives every user full control of their data, so that we can make better decisions ethically, right? So this mission really resonated with a lot of people back then. Like, the community was incredibly responsive. I wasn't the only one to need that, and I was just the first one to put it clearly and call others to join. So really a lot of young engineers, for the most part students, young professionals, they answered the call, and they came to contribute to this new community, this open source platform. So it was really amazing to see like all these people getting involved and helping out, and these early contributors in the first few years, they were really prolific. Um, we built a lot of new features in the product, and we really all collaborated towards that mission. And by the way, a lot of these people, they went on very soon after that to found their own companies. Many became lead engineers or CTOs, or others went to work at like the big software companies like Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, New York Times, and of course even Google. We had some people going to Google, and many more. It was really an incredible group of talent. And this was the time where we organized meetups in European cities. We met in London, in Paris, in Munich, in Berlin. And it was all volunteer-based, right? There was no salaries involved. Back then, to raise money, we relied on donations, which we were very grateful to get, but there were not that many, right? This was also the start of the crowdfunding thing. So we did a few crowdfunding campaigns to fund a few feature developments. Also, we were just building Matomo features for companies and charging for that. I was personally lucky to find a job for a few years where the company paid me to develop the open source product. And in these first few years, we were really prolific. We released more than 70 versions of the product. The community kept growing, and it was going really well in terms of traction. But we quickly realized, after a few years actually, not so quickly, it took me a while to realize that we would need to get a lot more funds to be able to sustain this and actually deliver on the mission. The mission was so big, and we were competing with Google, obviously, and others too. And we just needed to make money and to be able to hire more engineers and pay salaries, etc. So this was time to go into business. Yeah. So we had a really exciting business story as well. So it has been quite a ride to get to where we are today in 2024. First, we had a somewhat of a false start. Let's say we built a first business with other people. We learned a lot during that journey. Turns out that we didn't have the same values with those people we went into business first. So we decided to leave that business, and my co-founder Thomas, along with the most talented engineers and lead engineers, so they were at the time Stefan and Dizzy, we exited that business and left, and we decided to try again, second business, to this time to go by our values and in full alignment with the open source community and mission. So yeah, for the anecdote, Thomas and I, the co-founders of the business, we're both from humble roots. We come from farming families. We value hard work, honesty, integrity. So around 10 years ago, we sat down and we decided that we didn't want to raise funds for Matomo. We wanted to keep our independence, make sure we can honor the mission without being, forced to grow at any cost or make decisions that were not aligned. So we wanted to build an old school, sustainable company, right? A company that would be profitable, make money, so we can remain independent. So we started really working hard, building the business, using the lean principles, and we were, in business terms, we were chasing product market fit, right? So we were constantly iterating based on your feedback from the community and our early customers. And around 7 years ago, we reached product market fit. So this was a huge achievement, and we started getting traction in the business. And today, in 24, after doing this for 9 years, we're lucky that we can say the business has more than 50 employees now. We have about half the team in New Zealand, where I live, and half the team in Europe and North America. So we also have people a bit everywhere: India, Australia, Philippines, etc. And we got some really good results. Like Matomo is now used on 1 million websites in the world. And the cool thing with Matomo is, we're really providing a community service. Like around 95% of all users, they're actually using the free version. So only a few percent are paying for the services. So we do have this impact on the community. We have almost 20,000 paying customers. We're profitable. We're hiring as well. So if anyone's interested, we're a full remote company with really good culture, and we're hiring about 10 to 15 people every year. So, and many of the hires will be in Europe, where most of our customers are. Also, our business is really diverse. We have people from really so many different cultures, and we're proud also that our senior leadership team is half women. So, all of this story to say that, we are really committed to the mission, to keeping Matomo a really powerful open source and free platform, free as in freedom. Of course, there's commercial services. You can purchase our premium features that deliver like super value for businesses. You can take Matomo to the next level with this. You can also get our customer support. We have a big, awesome support and success team. As you know, you can also use our cloud solution if you don't know how to deploy on-premise. But really, we are behind the original mission, and we stick to that. And we're really proud that we've achieved some really big traction in Europe. In Germany, for example, around 12% of all websites use Matomo. So that's a big win. Also in Austria, around 12%. In France, we have around 7% of all websites using Matomo, or in Switzerland as well. So this was a little bit about the story of Matomo, how we came to the business, and now I'm going to share with you a few customer stories. So the first one is showing how so the first one is about Concrete CMS. It's a great company. They build an open source CMS, so content management system, and they completely transform their analytics with Matomo. So they're used by organizations all over the world. They help to create and manage websites for those clients. And Concrete CMS, they wanted to understand how visitors use their website, right? So also they had strong need to be compliant with privacy laws like GDPR. And they found that the current tools were quite limited and hard to use. So that's when they discovered Matomo, like the open source analytics tool. For them, it was really ideal because they didn't want limits in their data. They wanted to customize things and be in control. So, for example, Jess, the marketing manager, they really saw how Matomo could solve their problem. They started using it. It didn't take a lot of training. They started using some of the extra features like the form analytics, or they run heat maps on their pages. They use funnel to track how people drop off the funnel, and they started really looking at all this data. And they started to understand where people were having trouble on their website. So, for example, one example was that they had an address field, and they realized that people got stuck on this field. For some reason, there were some problems. It wasn't as usable. as it could be, but they didn't know that until they saw it in the data. So they made these changes. Based on that, they improved the sites, and in just a few days, they they got to the amazing result of that they got 3 times more leads on the site. So just within a few days of deploying and looking at the data and asking themselves what can be improved. So they made their site more user-friendly, and it was compliant with the laws, and they really achieved their goals. And Jess is sharing her story here at Matomo camp, so really exciting. And yeah, it shows how, this concrete CMS example shows how when you use the right tool and you have the right processes, you look at the data, you can really improve and get to your success. So this is the power of analytics, and yeah, a cool story. So thanks, Jess, for that, for sharing. Yeah, and also I'll share another story, actually a second story. So this one is about a Germany customer of ours called 7 Assets. And by the way, those stories are also on the website. If you click on matomo.org and help case studies, you can find those stories as well. So 7 Assets, they're a German-based fintech startup. So they help their customers manage their finance, right? When you do your expense, or you might invest in real estate or stock, etc. So their platform helps their users with user-friendly design, they're secure, and they really value transparency and security, right? But they had a big challenge because their analytics was not working for them. It was too complex and it didn't do what they wanted. It didn't tell them exactly how users behave on the platform. So they looked around for a better tool. So they investigated some, simple analytics tool out there, but they were just too simple. They didn't have what they needed. They also looked at Google Analytics, which was more advanced, but it had some issue around data control and transparency, and they couldn't really manage their data in a compliant way that they needed. So the founder, Robin, he was stuck really. He didn't find what he wanted, and then luckily he discovered Matomo. So he found really that we do care about privacy, and we have built strong controls in the product, and of course we have a comprehensive set of reports, and they decided to try it. So they switched to the cloud, which was an easy switch for them. They could immediately start tracking and measure the behavior, and they used session recordings, so they could see how people use the product. They could see how deep people scroll down the page, how they interact, and really all of that helped them make their data more useful. They stayed compliant with the GDPR, of course, and they could leverage the API of Matomo to build in the data within their product. So they had some really good results. They could really understand how people interact with the product and then tweak it accordingly. So they didn't have to choose between having a good tool and a lot of insights or having a compliant tool. With Matomo, they get both at the same time. So they could make better decisions. They could build in a better user experience on their apps. So really cool story. Thanks, Robin, for sharing. Yeah. Nice. So now we've seen the Matomo story, a couple of customer story. Now I'm gonna conclude with a little bit of what makes Matomo and what's coming for the future. So at Matomo we see the strategy, let's call it, around 4 pillars, right? So Matomo is a comprehensive web analytics platform. So this is the number one. We are here to provide a really comprehensive web analytics solution that gives you insights, helps you understand and build better experience. And we have a lot coming up in this area. We're working hard on it, and yeah, stay tuned for that. The second one, not only we want to provide a comprehensive web analytics, we also want it to be delightful, right? And this means we want the interface to be intuitive, to be user-friendly, to work out of the box. We want it to be accessible to everyone, regardless of their expertise or language as well. We have some work to do, I must say. The delightful user experience is not fully in place yet. So we actually are investing into this. We're hiring UX engineers, and we are going to really focus on that next year. So if you use Matomo, please, you can see next year you will see and feel a different experience, and we'll take it to the next level. And we want to delight you and your colleagues. Matomo, one of our pillars is also that we are really big on being privacy focused and ethical. You know, we're here to do the right thing. So we're committed to data privacy, security, to ensuring full compliance with GDPR and other legislation. We're also privacy focused in the sense that you can choose where you host your data, right? We provide you sovereignty over your data. You can self-host on your server. When you do that, we don't have any view into it. We really have no idea what's in your Matomo when you self-host. Or if you want an easy solution, you can go for the cloud. But in either way, you will enjoy like strong privacy features and security measures, and you can trust that your data is handled with ethical practices, and that your data is safe, and that you are sovereign over your data. And finally, not only we're building a comprehensive web analytics for you that we want to make really delightful to use, we always going to care about privacy and ethics. And finally, Matomo is going to remain open source, and it is an enterprise proven solution. So it's not just open source, it's enterprise proven open source. Through the last 16 years, we have, come now to build this enterprise proven platform. It's stable, it's scalable, it integrates with dozens, even more than 100 platforms out there, tools. It can meet the needs of large organizations. We have big enterprises using Matomo and customers of us. So Matomo is really a reliable choice for enterprises looking to grow, and it can be very flexible as well through the APIs. You can really do a lot and have total control over how it looks, or what it does, or what data you track, or how is the data managed. So this is Matomo, an enterprise proven open source web analytics solution that will delight you, and that will always care about privacy and remain ethical. Okay, so next, and to end, I will talk a little bit about the future, right? So there's a lot happening these days with the AI, right? That was initially launched 2 years ago now, already 2 years. AI is really mind-blowing, incredible technology. Internally at Matomo, we have very quickly released an AI policy to both encourage our people to use this tool and to leverage AI in our work, and also to ensure that we use AI responsibly, and that we respect the strictest privacy and security measures as we use and learn to use AI. So it's been a game changer in terms of helping us to think better, to research complex topics, and just generally better communicate together. AI is really amazing for that. We are establishing our AI strategy, so we already are leveraging it in many ways, but it's not yet in the Matomo product. It's going to happen for sure, but we do it step by step. So, for example, a first step we'll take is to use AI to improve the translations in Matomo. Right? If you use Matomo in a non-English language, often you find that there's still some English text appearing here and there because the AI, the translations are not 100% complete. But we'll make them 100% complete with AI, and of course with a human professional translator to reviewing those translations. Right? We don't trust the AI by default. You have to review the output, but this is going to be in place, right? And this is just a small example. Eventually, we will deploy more of that on the website, in the product, of course. I can't say too much at the moment, but you can be sure that when we do that, it will be done with the respect of the open source and sovereign data. So stay tuned. In 2025, we will share more on that. Also next year, and you are, as I mentioned, you are going to see improvements and a lot of movement in the UI and UX space. So we really are committed to make Matomo delightful to use, and we'll invest heavily in that area. There's a lot more exciting things coming. We're cooking up some really incredible things. I can't share too much right now. We are not the kind to overpromise. We rather underpromise and overdeliver. So stay tuned. You won't be disappointed next year. We have now a team. We have many engineers and UX engineers and product professionals, and we will be able to iterate and move a lot faster. We have great people in the business, but also in our community. All of you listening, we love hearing from you. All the feedback you leave on GitHub is extremely valuable. We read it all, we triage it. We really try to listen. Please keep pushing your ideas. We really appreciate that. Also, we have some great partners in the community, but we didn't have a partner program up to now. So I'm really excited to announce that next year, very early next year, we'll be launching our official Matomo partner program. So we're really keen to work with agencies out there, with the professionals who are deploying Matomo, helping customers get set up, helping with analyzing the data or training. We want to hear from you and work with you. So we really look forward to launching this next year and welcoming our first partners onto the program. We'll also be creating with the community and a product strategy advisory board. So we want to co-design the future of Matomo together. And if you think you're a good fit, that you could contribute great insights to this strategy advisory board, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. We'll open a few seats on the board, so it would be awesome to have you if you're really knowledgeable about the industry. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed these little stories. Really thank you for being a part of the journey with us. We will shape the future of analytics together. So I look forward to working with you, and I wish you an awesome time, happy analytics, and have an awesome day, everyone. And again, thank you to all the organizers and the speakers today. It was an awesome event. So thank you, everyone. Take care.